Second round submission. Islam Makhachev is the new UFC lightweight champion. How effortlessly it all went down. In this video, we'll go over the fight and how the pros reacted to it. Spoiler alert, they all want to get trained. On top of that, we'll be taking you through Makhachev calling out Volk. So without further ado, let's dive right into it. First things first, everyone went wild. Everyone enjoyed the fight, but a few pro fighters were so fascinated with Islam's performance that they now want Khabib to train him. Twitter exploded when Islam did the arm triangle and won in the second round via submission. This was exactly what Islam said he would do. Charles has the most wins by submission in the lightweight division, and Islam respected his credentials, although he said that he would chase that record down, starting with Charles himself. And guess what, guys? He made Oliveira submit. Now, that's some victory. Well, here's how the pros reacted to it. "Oh, said Vince Pichel. Not gonna lie, we said the same thing. Jeremy Kennedy praised Islam in his tweet where he used the clap emoji after he said, dropped him and followed him down for the finish like he said he would. Well, who else said that? Us. But we're not pros, so it doesn't matter. Terrence McKinney said that the fight was nasty and that Islam was built differently. Dan Ige said that Islam deserved the belt. Islam is a humble guy who worked hard to get to this point. None other than Brian Ortega said, Khabib, train me please. Well, Brian, who wouldn't want that? Marco Madsen said that Makhachev versus Volk is gonna be fire. More about this in a while. Moving on, let's hear a little from Cormier. After Makhachev defeated former lightweight champion Charles Oliveira to win the title, there is no longer any doubt about the brilliance of one of the UFC's emerging stars. Makhachev, who headed into the fight with a 10-bout winning streak, rejected those who would argue that he hasn't faced top-tier opposition to get a crack at the title. As of right now, he could claim to be the first guy to finish Oliveira in almost 5 years. Before the bout, Daniel Cormier said that Makhachev's team had invested more than $1 million in getting ready for this chance. He remarked the team spent quite a buck to prepare the man for the fight. He added Islam was ready for anything way before the fight. This guy had been in Abu Dhabi and Dubai getting ready, and frankly, if he hadn't made use of all that was being invested in him, he wouldn't have been the champion he is today. Makhachev responded to Oliveira's opening body kick with several powerful hooks, including a strong left hand, which definitely looked like it hurt. In the first round, Makhachev had excellent footwork and, as was expected, could prevail on the ground while also fending off any submission attempts from Oliveira. Oliveira appeared dangerous from his back, but several observers questioned if it was a good idea for him to stay too long on the mat. Turns out it wasn't. Oliveira, though, was left with no option when Makhachev defeated him by dropping him and then submitting him. Coming up, Islam Makhachev is tired of the skeptics. Speaking about a post-fight confrontation, Khabib Nurmagomedov challenged Alexander Volkanovski, the current pound-for-pound champion, and Islam's next opponent. Khabib called him out for Islam, saying, "Where is the short guy?" Volkanovski entered the octagon to take up the challenge after Makhachev posed the question. Makhachev may have a lot of issues with Volkanovski in the future, but hey, Oliveira was also expected to be a significant obstacle for the Russian, and look how the night ended. Islam made the most significant statement of his career. But hey, we can't bet on Alexander now, can we? This is where he might present the danger. Together with the staff at City Kickboxing and Freestyle Fighting Gym, the man develops a strategy that enables him to be so amazing. His footwork and his capacity to execute the game plan might be Makhachev's major setback. What's more, the fight that happened outside the octagon. Right during UFC 280, we got to experience a fight that wasn't on the card. The whole incident occurred as a famous retired fighter, Khabib, was presenting Islam Makhachev with the belt following his huge victory over Charles Oliveira. His cousin, Abu Bakar, was having a normal conversation with Chimaev. There was obvious tension between the two. They've had it for a while now. Both had their hands locked as Abu Bakar whispered something into Chimaev's ear. This is where the tension was getting worse. A third person tried to intervene and prevent anything physical, but it still happened as Chimaev was the first to lose his cool and lashed out. Both of them got a good jab in before they were split apart by security and were caught on camera. It seemed like whatever was said got to Chimaev in a second, as he lost control entirely. It took a good 4 to 7 guards to contain them both. It's not clear what words were exchanged between them, but this is pretty similar to his clash with Kevin Holland at UFC 279, which also happened backstage. Up next, what did Dana White have to say about it? Chimaev is a rising star in the UFC world. His fights are dominating and brutal in the cage. He even has a shot at the UFC title, but his interests seem to be divided. While he does his job and wins, he's more inclined towards building a personality like that of the notorious Conor McGregor. The pair have had problems between them since 2021. Khamzat Chimaev said that he'd smash Khabib after broing it up with Ramzan. It was Abu Bakar, Khabib's cousin, who called him out to say that he betrayed his own homeland and his brothers and gained fame to become a different person. The 32-year-old then pointed at his former friend to say that in America, he sat, trained at the same gym, went to the mosque together with them, and called them brothers, and now he's expressing his deep desire to tear someone up. Khabib recently criticized him for the botched weigh-in at UFC 279 that caused the card to be changed. He thinks it was because Chimaev doesn't have good, strong people around him, specifically Muslims. As his popularity rises, so does his erratic behavior. He's been having more and more incidents and altercations. He caused the chaotic brawl at the UFC 279 press conference, due to which Dana White had to cancel the entire event. Coming up, the already squashed beef. Now, there are two types of leaders: Dana White, the president of UFC, and Khabib Nurmagomedov. Let's start with Dana and then compare both of them. Dana was asked about the whole brawl taking place, and he gave a response that just seemed like an "it is what it is" type. He said that Chimaev is just like that and there's no point in denying it, that there's nothing he even has to say about it, and that it just happens. But this seemed like his way of promoting the tension rather than diffusing it. He said that he has about 800 men and women fighters who are all alpha and will cross paths with animosity between them. No one liked the response. A fight should remain within the cage where it's safe for the fighters and fun to watch. On the other hand, less than 2 days after the brawl, Khabib already diffused the tension entirely. Chimaev and Team Khabib had dinner together shortly after the brawl, and the issue is completely resolved between the two. Pictures of them hanging out together at dinner came out. Then, Khabib recorded a video with everyone standing next to each other where he said that the incident that happened before didn't represent them well at all. He added that he was tired of the nonsense. They gathered together as brothers, talked to each other, cleared the air, and apologized. He said that he hopes in the future they only gather and fight for good reasons. This is the attitude UFC needs. Not to forget, O'Malley's controversial win. Despite Sean O'Malley's victory against former bantamweight champion Petr Yan, UFC President Dana White doesn't seem overly thrilled. At the UFC 280 post-fight press briefing, Dana expressed his opinions on the subject. White said that the judges' evaluations of the match were entirely at odds with his assessment of how it went. At UFC 280, Sean O'Malley defeated Petr Yan via a close and exciting split decision. 2 out of the 3 judges gave Sugar a 10-9 for the first and third rounds. Let's talk about Dana comparing it to Aldo versus McGregor. According to Dana White, if Sean O'Malley wins a few crucial matches in his career as the Irishman did during his rapid rise in the promotion, he might become a global sensation like Conor McGregor. White compared Sugar's encounter with Petr Yan at UFC 280 to McGregor's clash with Jose Aldo in terms of importance. While saying that the key to becoming a superstar for O'Malley is winning those crucial matches, Dana compared them, adding that Conor won all the crucial matches he needed to win on the route to success. The 27-year-old may not be too far from being a UFC celebrity, given that he defeated former champion Yan, but it wasn't in the same dramatic manner that the Notorious finished Aldo. That's a wrap for today's video. Who do you want to see Islam go against next? Let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed. See you in the next one. Peace.